Good evening. We need to talk. Good evening in the US. Good morning in early morning if you're in the UK. Welcome. And hopefully some of my Australian friends are on here. This is important. Firstly, it's Hump Day. Hump Day in Australia. And I don't know whether it's all over the world. I don't know. But we've done, and I said it yesterday, but there's a lot going on all spheres of life will come in and do stuff at the same time. So I had day 3 in my head. I'm like, it's hump day. But halfway through day 3 is not hump day. Halfway through day 2. Well, you know what I mean. You got to do 3.5 days to, so halfway through day 4. Has to be hump day, not halfway through day 3, because that's 2.5 days. Anyway, why do we need to talk? Thankfully, because life has been so chaotic in every way, I have not been checking out the forum. Now, I want you to check out, in your own time, Fighting the Frustration here. Alright, it's on the forum at the course, and anyone who wants to improve their playing and deals with the frustrations of playing need to see the way that this played out, and I'm going to talk about some of the issues that came up there. And the thread that started that thread was someone really super frustrated, obviously, and we're making great progress. It's just I'm sounding like someone we all know. Things are great. We're making great progress. I didn't say that out loud. Is trumpet playing a matter of life or death? Life and death. Life or death. I should have written that properly. That bugs me when I do things like that. Right. Clearly, playing an instrument isn't a matter of life and death. Life or death. Whatever. But it can affect us emotionally, and a lot of people depend on their playing to feel validated in their lives. Now, that is really dangerous. Really dangerous. We've got to understand that our playing we're lucky enough to be in the situation to be able to play an instrument. And then with a rational approach to it, and dedication and smart practice, you will improve. But if your expectations are beyond what you're currently capable of and you get frustrated by it, that is problematic. Excuse me 1 second. Again, I should have done this. Oh, damn. Oh, there we go. Turning on an air conditioner with a phone. How cool is that? Here we go. Bill in the forum that you'll see, professional player, lovely guy, great guy, just trying to make transitions in his playing, getting a bit frustrated. Well, I think with the speed of the development and the progress, this takes time. But if you're new here, you've got to do the Largo status, because what I'm about to talk about will make no sense to you. So you've got to get your Largo status at the course, and I'd recommend going and starting from day 1, because I talk about all this stuff heaps. But anyway, now that you're here, what am I doing there? We're developing the feeling of the aperture corners and the recognition of the inward movement of the aperture corners, the horizontal inward movement as we're ascending. And Bill was, and then taking the idea of the corners inwards and pushing further forward to try and get that way out. Now, that's not the idea, but it's a very easy to understand misinterpretation. So, and it's only, in a way, he's doing exactly what I'm saying, but it's not my intention. And this is the whole joy of trying to, well, one, being able to speak to you live, and just seeing the way that different people interpret it. Because on this topic, you all please, you all need to watch that, not that video. Oh, you need to watch that video there first. And then watch this. Oh, there's a link just here by Peter. Watch that. Watch it. Watch it. I don't care what instrument you play. I don't care how long you've been playing for. The issues are universal here. Please watch these videos. So seeing the way that we interpret things is really fascinating from person to person to person, but it's really explained in detail there. So what I say time and time again, is using the voice to figure out flow. Passive. No squeeze, 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 no squeeze. Right, and eventually we need to squeeze, and it's dependent on volume and all this sort of stuff. But we're developing from the foundation of our playing. And remember the line, I want the lips to interact with the air as if they're the vocal cords. Now, anyone who's doing the Windworks course or has been involved in watching any of my stuff over the years, by now should know, if I say, what's my main mantra? Number one, I want the lips to interact with the air as if they're the vocal cords. Now, that doesn't solve all problems, because what happens when you meet someone that goes, "G'day, Greg, how you going?" Which has happened to me a lot. If you talk like this, or you talk like that, or you talk like this, or you talk like that, or you talk, there's all this strain going on in the body that needs to be addressed. But once we address that and open up what I call the body's concert hall, there's the foundation of all of your playing. Close your eyes. Again, anyone who's been watching this, the first thing we do, 1% rule. Can we relax more to get more sound out of the body? Now I'm getting sent all of these videos, which is awesome. Thank you all to show your progress over the 5 weeks. That's awesome. In pretty much all of the videos, I'm not seeing as openness here as we can get. And we all need to be sitting down and just blooming eyes closed and go, what can I let go of? What can I let go of? What can I let go of? Can I let go of 1% more to make 1% more sound? Not activate more, let go more. Again, if I go, you get that, and people will go, yes, I'm humming, but they're engaged here and it's tight. And as soon as I relax and open up, it's a whole different ball game. And that's the feeling of playing. Now, my chops, I can feel already. I played all day yesterday. I did 3 recording sessions here in my studio, and I did the challenge last night. And you please go back and watch yesterday. So what would that be? Day 3 of week 3. It was one of those days. Tick, 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 tick. Where did that come from? Longer notes, faster notes, without thinking about it. It's just natural. It's starting to morph here. Just watch it. You want to improve, just watch it. While I think of it, see, I'm struggling to see comments when I'm streaming. So I don't want you all seeing all this nonsense here. But yeah, I'm not seeing streaming down, questions down here, and I need to be able to, so I've got to figure out how to see the comments. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'll work on it. I'll have to do a test session. So, right. The 4 steps from figuring out the voice. And I say repeatedly, do I play in all registers all over the horn like that? No. It's a great place to start. You You're recognizing the inward movement. Please, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again. You need to watch this video by Peter. Thank you, Peter. You've nailed it. Please watch this video. You're hearing it from someone else. It might make sense to you, more sense. We're discovering what the aperture corners are. We're discovering the feeling of not pinching the lip. We're discovering the amount of airflow required to play with the big resonant sound in the low register. And the feeling of freedom. Body resonance. It's, in my head, it's really logical, and that's where I can come unstuck, because I need to keep explaining it, because it's not logical. It's really different approach to playing, and I get that. So, once we get the lead pipe on, so this is referring to Bill in the forum. Oh, Bill, you're doing that bit perfectly, right? So consider the steps. You do, and when I see people demonstrate this, I rarely see them use the tissue. What's the point of the tissue? There's the air column, there's the airstream. So most people, when they put the visualizer on, I've got them here. If you want one, I've got plenty of them. Once you put that on, most people preset their chops. So hang on a minute. No. Oh, don't move. And when people do that, their instinct and their reptilian brain goes, you can't play like that. You can play like it. You're not used to it. It feels different. And people are mortified by the difference. Check out the other video that's linked on the other pages about the Alexander technique. People are terrified by the feeling of difference, and their training says this will not work. But they're having issues with their playing. And the brain's going, don't change anything, because that's wrong. Yet I'm having issues with my playing and I'm really frustrated. Yeah, but don't change anything because that's wrong. It's funny the way the brain works. Oh. Now check it out. The rim doesn't have to change the impact on the tissue. I did this for months, years even, to develop it. So I don't expect people to be able to pick it up straight away and do it. But when you understand the science behind it, and I'm going to talk about that in just a minute, I'm going to show you a couple of awesome videos. When you understand the science behind it, to a degree, I'm no physicist, but I understand enough to make playing easier. And aperture corners, no pinch, freedom of airflow, and Bill, who's in the forum, was forever getting that and getting really frustrated that wasn't happening. I am going to get onto my harmonic slurs, so I'm going to tick some boxes, but please understand what we're coming from here. And he's getting more and more frustrated because it didn't work. But at that stage, he wasn't familiar with the aperture corner tension. We spoke for about 15 minutes, and all of a sudden, for the first time, and you've got to read the forum, it's really exciting, he got that sympathetic oscillation. It's just the way that pressure and you know, I'm just taking it on faith that there are air molecules and there's air pressure. I don't know. I've never seen air molecules. I'm just guessing that they're there. And that's soft. That's loud. So I can tell by the microphone settings that it was louder. So something's happening. Is it air molecules? Okay, I'll take your word for it. So then you've got to this, Bill, you're doing it perfectly. And even then, the idea of changing pitch was really confronting. But now he's going, And I would suggest going lower to really feel. And just stick with that. There is a break on the lead pipe because of the harmonic structure, the harmonic overtones of the type, and you'll go. And people kill themselves doing that. And I don't want you killing yourself. And what they'll do is pinch the lips, choke up because they're pushing the air too hard. This is passive. And even more than that, you can actually play a chromatic scale on the lead pipe. So you can play all those notes, but check this out. That feels really hard to do. You need great focus to do it. But so what's going on there? You need to really manipulate the chops to get those other harmonics to work. And you can do it. And the mouthpiece is buzzing. But there's no mouthpiece buzzing when I'm in the middle of the pitch, in the middle of the resonance of the slot. Yet we teach people to mouthpiece buzz. Now, I know this is not a point for mouthpiece buzzing. I use it in the course at times. It's the psychology behind it. And it's the negative tension that it can create. Can create. Doesn't necessarily create. There are millions of great players that swear by mouthpiece buzzing. I'm just shining a light on the fact that it can create problems. So don't sledge me here. I see the problems that it creates, and people are feeling the problems that it creates. That's all. Anyway, so then the idea of playing higher, the misconception, and it's, I need to explain it differently. When I'm going, ooh, and then Bill's going to get higher, to bring the corners in more, ooh, and still really pushing forward. That's not the idea at all. The idea here is to get this happening. Then pick up trumpet. Valves halfway down, so there is no expectation of read Zen in the art of archery, please. Read Zen in the art of archery. Read Zen in the art of archery. Expectation is a killer. So if we put our valves halfway down, we're not expecting to make a great sound because it's going to sound stupid. However, we're getting the instrument onto the body. Some of you out there might go, that's a completely pointless exercise. You're missing the psychology completely. If there is an expectation of playing a beautiful sound, beautiful note, you're going to manipulate and pull on old habits. But this way, eyes closed, you've done enough on the lead pipe, then pick up the trumpet and copy the process with disregard to sound. Disclaimer, of course the end game is playing with a beautiful sound. We want the sound in the mind to flow through the instrument and into the room with no conscious thought about it. The only conscious thought is music. What notes on the page and translating that into what's in the room. Okay. No, Arnold Jacobs. The sound in the room is a mirror image of what's in his head. Zen in the art of archery. The notes spoken before you've even thought about the process of making it happen. It just happens when it happens when the time is right. No conscious control of it. So here, all we're thinking about is beautiful moment yesterday on Monday. On the doing my trombone day with Greg Quigley, and things start tightening up, and I said, just imagine the feeling of the breathing bag. We started with one of these, and instantly he went to play a note and went, and everything just went, just open. It's beautiful, beautiful. There it is right there. it's a sensation that we're developing, and it's a recognition of the feeling, which is the sensation, and an understanding that we don't have to pinch the lips in the middle, don't have to push. Passive, so feel the balloon, copy the process from the visualizer, from the lead pipe. Or you can tell yourself, just imagine the tissues there. What was the tissue like? If you don't have a visualizer, use 2 fingers, isolate your aperture corners. And become familiar with the fact that you can change pitch with just moving the mouth, right? We're cutting any ties between what's happening up here and what's happening down here. Soon as this changes to do harmonic slurs, this engages. This is what the whole challenge is all about, is to recognize that it doesn't have to when you do the Largo stage. Then you work up through, do the foundation level, it costs you $10, whatever. And you'll recognize this is where does Body's Concert Hall start and turn into where? That's the point. That's the point. And if you're really switched on and really patient, you'll start and become really familiar of the feeling of freedom, and then the feeling of overexertion. Point of difference. It's everything. So then that draw, and the other connection is when we're articulating. We're going to do, the next challenge is going to be single, double, and triple tonguing. It's going to be awesome. And so to tie into this whole idea, now, I'll get onto the timing thing in a minute. Just have a look at this. Now, these guys in Germany have done it. I've been thinking about doing it for ages. I actually want to have a stroboscopic thing down, but you can find it down into the vocal cords when we're playing. So I've actually never seen that when someone's playing. I'd love to be able to do it somehow, to see what's happening in the glottis and everything, when we're playing. But there is there is here. What am I talking about? So you can compare. In fact, I'll show you that one. I wasn't going to. I'll stop blithering. And now, what I want you to recognize here, rightio. This is awesome. So it was a project done over in Germany in 2017. So we're going to watch it again, and I want you to watch the jaw position. Watch the bottom of the jaw here. It's more obvious on the descending when he's coming up. Now, again, I'm saying it like it's really dramatic, but again, it's not really dramatic. How do I get rid of that? It's not really dramatic, but there is movement there, and that's all I'm trying to draw your attention to. So then, check out what's happening at the aperture. Okay, so you can see that the change is happening here. So that's all I'm interested in at the moment. The next one is going to talk more about tongue position. So I was asked in a comment, does the tongue control the lips, so therefore it changes the pitch? And that's absolutely not. The tongue and the aperture is separate. They're independent, but they need to work together to find when the tongue's in the right place and the lips are in the right place, you'll get resonant sound. But one doesn't lead the other. They're independent. And the idea is, that was brought up in the comment, as the tongue changes position in the mouth, it speeds the air up so you play higher. All I can say is research the Bernoulli principle. The only thing that determines velocity through an aperture is the aperture itself. Okay? So if the tongue moves around, but the lips don't move, you're not going to change pitch. If you change pitch here, but the tongue's in the wrong position, it's not going to sound very good. Here's a great example of tongue going higher in the upper register, but again, we'll watch it a couple of times so you can, excuse me, see what the jaw is doing, the aperture corners are doing, and what the tongue's doing. Okay, so watch the jaw firstly. Okay, this time watch the lips. And of course, this time, watch the tongue. So it's awesome seeing what's happening inside the mouth when we're doing this stuff. And I've demonstrated on my trombone before, when you get down to a pedal tone, you've got to lower the jaw down. So there is a movement of the jaw, but it's not the jaw that does anything. That's opening up the resonance in the oral cavity to create the sound that we need. And the pitch from the body's concert hall. The aperture corners we're drawing attention to. Now there was one more, I'm just making this up as I go along now, but there was one that showed the glottis while playing. Here we are. Check this out. And you can see the tongue there, the tongue's moving around when the dynamics change. So I just full credit to those guys that did that. Yeah, I for ages was going to do a stroboscopic video. I even had chats with a singing specialist at Monash University, and we were going to look at doing it. Then of course I've moved town. So here's a great example for others that have had an issue with their sorry, the practice progress charts. They got the progress is weird. It hasn't kept it. The same has happened here for me. So I need to actually go and log in to my account because you need to be logged in for it to keep progress. Okay, so I've done 100% and 8%, and here are all the. Oh, what am I doing wrong? This was about the progress, and then as soon as you log in, then you're right to go. So hopefully now, if I go back to, so those of you that haven't seen, here's the dashboard. Shows your progress. Here's the practice progress charts. It's the whole point of the WinWorks challenge here. Homepage. And then hopefully I'll look like a nut if this doesn't work, and I'll be really confused. That's not the one that I want to do. That's the register page. If I get rid of that, boom. Excuse me, while I get organized, go to page 3. And now we go down to the practice progress charts. And for some reason, that's not there. That's got something to do with my administration page here. So it's the, it's the first time that's happened. So I actually don't know how I'm going to go around doing that. Now, see, yeah, there's no comments. Stick with me here, folks. While I'm doing this, do some breathing. We're going to get started. I just want to go to the page. Of course, I'm streaming, so it takes ages. And I'm confused as to why my practice progress chart is that one, not the proper one. I've done something wrong. Right, here we go. Okay, cool. So I should be able to see now any comments come through. So if you've got any comments, questions, criticisms, theories, feel free to ask. So, rightio. Why is that not working? This is I'm vexed. Let me have a look and see what happens here. Oh, hang on. No, it's right. What am I talking about? There you go. I just didn't scroll down. So I didn't need to do any of that. I was actually right. But yes, you need to be logged in for the practice progress chart to be up and running. Or did it change? No, it didn't change. It's just kind of, it looks familiar. Why did it look familiar? Because that's the way it works. So I think I've covered everything. And I'll put a link to that trombone players page in the, if you're watching on YouTube, come along to the course, figure it out how to sign in. The links will be below. But I'll also put a link to this page here. Okay. Right. So, as per usual, for every day, have to do the long tone. So again, averaging at that 4.5 mark. I used to top it at 5. Maybe it's lack of practice, but I don't know. I'll be able to tell you by the end of the challenge. Then, there it is. Then I can demonstrate that. Literally feels like humming. So if we do the and then just find the low C using that pure process. That's everything. Now I need to do a note for a minute, so I'm not going to do that yet. Fast warm up. And I can feel from all the playing yesterday that it's all a bit tight and stuff. So I would take more time to do that if I wasn't streaming, but since we're into it, I'd do the Poo Lip, Coo, KMT and 2 videos at the site. 5 articulations. So then some harmonic slurs. So there's real basic warm up. Of course, then week 1 was week 2. Now we're up to week 3, and I'm going to play, hopefully, a note for a minute. A minute 15. There are days in week 1 where I couldn't go for 45 seconds. So there's obviously something going on where the body goes, I know how to get more air in, I know how to get more focus, let the lip respond with less work, less kick from the air. Again, what are we doing? We're working on efficiency. We're going to pull the air back, pull the air back, pull the air back, pull the air back. So therefore, the lip will struggle to survive. The note will struggle to survive because there is so minimal air pressure. It's as soft as I can play. So it's on the verge of stopping. So it's scratchy. It's not the most beautiful trumpet sound in the history of life. That's not the point. We're working on expanding, getting as much out of our body as we can. Then, because we've reduced pressure on the lip, when we do harmonic slurs, are you starting to go into the push? Why is that a problem? Because if you engage a push at this register, in the middle register you're going to engage more of a push, and in the higher register you're going to engage more of a push, and then you end up playing like that. where we don't have to. The psychology about playing is incorrect. When we recognise that we're just energising air in the pipe, the mouth will select the overtone. There's not much air required. Yes, if I want to play louder, the body needs to become involved. But I get you to consider this. Here is a passive low C. Now, the computer will compress because it does that when we're streaming. But it's loud and there's no grab of the balloon at all because I've got the lips wide open, big aperture. Then if we shut the aperture down, and the psychology of that when people see that is that's coming from the body. It's not coming from the body, it's coming from, imagine a gate, a lock with water and a river. Open it a little bit, open it a lot. Open a little bit of air, water going through. Open it a lot of water going through. So there's going to be volume, but consider the pitch implication. The pitch stays the same, relatively. The pitch stays the same. So we've got to keep the frequency at the aperture corners the same while we're opening and closing the aperture. Think about that. Since I've already been going for 42 minutes. No questions. No questions. If someone would like to comment, so I can see a comment coming up. There's one person watching. This is great. Now remember, this is going to YouTube, so these videos are going to be around forever. So it doesn't bother me whether there's one person watching or a million. If you could put a comment, just so I can see. I've just been missing comments, and it's driving me crazy. Yeah, so hopefully the comment would come up there. If I go, hello, Greg, because I had to. Marshall, good on you, man. Aussie. Well, American in Australia. Well done, buddy. Hey, thanks for that. I've just been missing comments, and it's driving me a bit bloomin' bonkers. So, that's awesome. So, where's mine? Hello, Greg. Yeah, so I did that. Excellent. That's awesome. Thanks, man. I was going to test it away from the stream. So anyway, here we go. How was that? Minute 15. You can't plan that stuff. It's crazy, huh? All right. So I got about. Well, here's a great example. You're prepared to spend 15 minutes because I want to finish on the hour mark. Otherwise, it's just getting ridiculous. You only want to spend 15 minutes doing your harmonic slurs, checking in each day. This is the way that I would do it. Just remind myself. Get metronome. So can I do this in 14 minutes? That's the question. So what's the time here? 10:44. Perfect. Now 1:44. It looks like my metronome's going to play up. There we go. That's good, it's brand new. Right. Because this is the first one, I'm going to do beat at a time, beat at a time, beat at a time, beat at a time. I'm doing 1:44. So I'm looking for 40 seconds. And again, it doesn't matter what tempo you're up to. It doesn't matter if you're doing quarter notes or eighth notes or sixteenths. It's finding our own limits. Sorry. So that's to 20. There's no point in doing every single step, all of them, but especially the 1, 2, 4, 8, and even the 5 seconds are a good thing to do. And then I'm going to go straight. So what are we aiming at? Is 40, did I say? Yep. All right. Well, that's not really a breath issue, clearly. But so I think I can't remember whether I started on the 10 or the 5, but let's say the 5. So that was 45 seconds. All right, so I was after 40, so I got that. And 45. It's just feeling more comfortable. Just doing it every day, it's just feeling more comfortable. So hopefully, Bill, when you see this, this is the process. Not worrying about trying to get up and really squeeze me to play higher. It's not that. It's not that. It's not that. There's a tiny tweak that Peter says, tiny tweak in the aperture corners that stimulates the pitch change. That's all it is. All right. 138. And just go straight for it. So that was 45 as well. In fact, what did I start on the... I kept forgetting. I think I started on the 15 then. So that would have made it 50. Pretty sure. Anyway. Now, I'm not one for giving myself free boxes. But I'm pretty sure that was the case. 152. So with all these faster ones, I'll just go... just to make sure we've got the feel of it and the body's calm. Alright, see how long we can go for. Nice expansion. So that was really rough. That was really rough, and I kept falling off it, but I kept going, which I normally wouldn't do, just to demonstrate how the feeling of it just wavers, and it's not in control. It's just not in control. But I could pick it up, but it wasn't in control like the other one. I got to 30 seconds, so I'd click that, but it wasn't ideal. If I was just practicing and wasn't under the pump, I'd come back and nail that. 144, so 138 I've done, so 132. Remember, if you're not talking too much, I want you to rest in between the exercises. But I'm talking a lot in between them, and it chews up time. But you generally don't have to. I mean, if you're going to play for 30 seconds, rest for 30 seconds. So let's say 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, say, even though they're about a minute, so that's probably not true. But then we get down to here, and they're only 5 seconds or 10 seconds. Overall, you can get through it all real quickly. 132. Just going straight for the, what's that, 50 that I'm looking for. I shouldn't even look, just play and see how long I go for, but 50. So we got the 50. Would have liked to have gone. I knew all the way through I was playing too loudly, so I was not going to get there. 160. Preparatory exercise. Wah wah wah. Wah 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 wah. To get the feeling of the mouth moving in time, the jaw moving in time. It's not an exact replication of what we need to do, wah wah wah, but it's a feeling of make it feel like that. There we go. You're inviting the body to understand and appreciate the sensation of it. Wah wah wah. I think I'd done 160, hadn't I? 168. See how long we can go for. 20. And I've already got 20. Okay. Right, how are we going for time? Oh, I'm just about done. So I'm just going to finish up. I've done some good time work today, so I just want to check in on my fastest tempos. So I'm going to go straight to 208 and work back and finish on the hour. Any questions, any thoughts, criticisms, queries? Talk later, my friend. You must not really need much of a warm-up anymore. Depends on the day and what happened the day before, right? Yes, it does. Almost Aussie. Yeah, I don't need to warm up much. But it's all based on the sound and the feel of it. So that's the issue. Oh, that's good having those comments there. Oh, that's good. Rightio. 208. What? What? I know it's weird. Recognize it. Disengage from body. So there's the 8. So I just cannot get 5 seconds at 208 F to B flat. Job done. Just checked in, but the mere process of trying it is pushing the boundary. Simple as that. Job done. Job done. Job done. Job done. You've pushed your boundary. And again, God forbid we ever have to do a gig where we're harmonic slurring that fast. But the connection between that and there's a little trill up the top there, and people really struggle with doing it. Or big shakes, big it's the same thing. It's the same thing. The Baroque natural trumpet players could do it a squillion miles an hour. And it's good to be able to do. And of course, those guys had incredible high range back in the early days. That's what we're working on. Strategic development with pure process. There it is. I just said it out loud. Strategic development with pure process. I've never said those words before, but that's what we're working on. If there's no further questions, I am going to stop. Job done. All done. And going. So tomorrow I'm going to be at 6 p.m. because I have a birthday party to go to. So Australian Eastern Standard Time. 6 p.m. on Thursday the 12th of September. Year's getting away. Okay. Until then, my dear friends, au revoir.